Hey everyone, it's Mr. Wild194. I hope you're doing well today. I have another review for a Die Dark book. This is volume 5, obviously, as the 5 right here says, by Q Hayashida. And like all of the previous volumes, I love this one quite a bit, and I really love the cover here with Damamaru, the blue cover, the orange lettering. It's very, very nice. Very badass, if you will. Reminds me of my Goosebumps books back here, that very 90s orange and blue mix that some of them would have sometimes. Anyway, it's about 200 pages long, and I'm sorry it took me so long to get around to reviewing this. This is a library copy. I had a lot of busyness going on in my life with my job and trying to catch up on my movie backlog and so on and so on. But I got a haul of books recently I plan on doing a video about very soon, maybe tomorrow. I haven't decided yet. It's pretty late right now. If I look like I have watery, glassy eyes, especially this one right here, it's because it's about 4 a.m. and I can't sleep. I just can't. I'm getting old. But anyway, I have a review for this, and I just finished Volume 6 tonight, which took me about a week to read as well. Look at this cover, man. Jesus. Anyway, I'll get to that in the next video. Die Dark Volume 5, though, kicks off when Zaha Senko is worried about Avakian. From the previous book, apparently, I think it's very obvious if you read the book, but this is going to be a spoiler for the end of that book. Magma Raiden showed up, a photonuclear man, and the team had a fight with this guy, and he kicked Avakian really hard in the side of the head and basically collapsed Avakian's head inward a little bit, so he's kind of damaged, down for the count, may or may not be able to be resurrected. So in this book, when it picks up, basically everybody has the idea to go to Mesatani, the chick that sells them things in that giant skull box, kind of like the merchant from Resident Evil 4. And they go to Mesatani and ask her, hey, could you possibly take whatever we have to pay for this and fix Avakian? She says yeah, but she also tells Zaha Senko and Moha that they have to basically stand out where her location is and keep up with her customers and sell merchandise to them. And Zaha does that. And this absolutely was hilarious. He was wearing the cloak. These customers didn't know it was Zaha Senko. They just thought it was a kind of a peer of Mesatani. And while they were doing that, I thought it was really funny too, because he actually got the prices mixed up and was selling the stuff cheaper to these customers and not realizing that he messed up the price that, you know, Mesatani had told him to sell the stuff for. And things got horrific after that. A lot of killing ensued, and it was really fun. Despite the situation and the despair for one of my favorite characters of the series, the best friend of Zaha Senko, Avakian, the Paggy, backpack, whatever you want to call him. I love Avakian. I'm not going to joke. When I finished Volume 4, I was super worried about him, whether he'd be in the series or not, and I'm glad here they really take the time out to try to take care of him and try to save him. But on the other hand, though, Magma Raiden, who was killed by Zaha in the previous book after what happened to Avakian and everything else, he gets really pissed off because they find out that this photonuclear man, Magma Raiden, is actually being repaired by Big Sparkle, the character that I cannot stand. He's barely in this book, thank God. If you don't know why I can't stand him, well, read the series. Because every sentence he says ends with the word sparkle, and it makes you want to shoot yourself. It's brutal, but the book itself is as dark and fun and grimy and funny in general as it's ever been, despite the really dreadful situation. The situational humor is always great. Q Hayashida is a phenomenal artist and writer. I love the art once again. I'll show you some samples of that. Here's a great example of a setting in the beginning of the book, like the first chapter. And of course, all of these volumes come with bonus stories at the very end, at least one. And this one was in particular, I thought was really good, in case you want to hear a little bit about it. Basically, whatever the spider thing is, the Dark Lord spider, whatever they're called, Dark Lord bug that they have, I always forget his name. It's something really cool and very Greek. They have a pet spider on their spaceship. You know, Zaha, Senko, Avaki, and all of them. Our main four little shit characters, as they're called. And basically, Zaha gets bitten by the bug, and he begins to get like these tattoo marks on his arm, and I thought that was pretty fun. And what happens with that, and the poison from that stuff, was pretty cool. I'm curious if anything will be done with that in the future, but I don't know. For right now, these 10-page bonus stories at the end of every single one of these volumes have been really great. This was a really good volume, just like all of the previous volumes, like I said. This is kind of tightening down a little bit more from this volume and the next volume, volume 6, I'm going to review after this, where we're finally really getting into a plot. Not just world building, not just character building, but a lot of actual plot development. This book had a lot of character moments, by the way, really focused on people like Damamaru, or however you say his name. He is a character that I really enjoy. The more we learn about him, the more interesting he becomes. He's kind of just like a mysterious force that is even like played as a South Park joke. Every time he gets killed randomly, everybody's like, oh my god, they killed Damamaru, and they play it constantly. I refuse to believe anything but the fact that Q Hayashida is clearly a South Park fan and referencing Kenny. Damamaru is a great, fun, mysterious character, but he's basically the Kenny of this series, even down to the name he went with, Hellmaster. I really love him. He's a really fun force in here, and finding out more about his character and his history and his backpack is really cool. I love all of that stuff. There's some trippy shit in this book. And like I said, the development of more of a plot than what the series has had so far, every previous volume being kind of meandering, was fine. I had a good time with all of that stuff because of how fun this world is and how fun these characters are. This book really kind of corrected course just a little bit, but it was really good. It was just as good as the previous volumes, if not sometimes better than them. But it was a good read. I recommend it highly if you haven't read Die Dark, like I've said over and over again in these reviews. You owe it to yourself to check it out. These are really fun and engaging reads. If I had to rate Die Dark Volume 5 or Bone 5, whatever this is called, on a 5-star basis, I would easily, without doubt, give this a 5 out of 5 stars. I love it. It's easily my most recommendable series this year. One of the best random finds and random hidden gems I've ever heard of, ever. Picking this series up at random like I did a few weeks back when I bought Volume 1 at that Barnes & Noble, that was on a whim, and it was one of the best pickups I've ever found. This is some of the best manga I've ever read, some of the best comic series, run-on series, whatever, that I've ever read. What makes me sad is now that I've read Volume 5 and Volume 6, Volume 7 doesn't come out in America until August, and it is killing me, to be quite honest with you. The fact that I'll have to wait like 3 or 4 months for a new volume is brutal, especially the way Volume 6 ends. But that's a story for the next review, like I said. What did you guys think about Die Dark Volume 5 if you did read it? I'd love to hear everything you have to say about it down in the comment section down below. What are some of your predictions about what's going to happen in the future after Volume 6 and this Volume 2? I'd love to hear all that down below too. Anyway, Die Dark Volume 5, great recommendation, 5 out of 5 stars, like I said, for Volume 5. Thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all. Catch you later, and goodbye.